What is going on, guys? Another episode in Hindsight Live. Hope you guys are doing well today. It is Friday, almost the weekend, hopefully for most of you. Oh, man. I know we're going live here. I had this live scheduled originally for Sunday, but with some of the news going on, that stuff's happening today, I figured that I would come on here and kind of start talking about it because it's ongoing now. We don't know what Sunday's going to look like. Afton, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. Let me know in the comments. Do I sound echoey at all? Because last episode my mic was kind of echoey, and I actually had my echo on apparently. So do I sound okay? Do I sound echoey? Let me know. I'm going to go into Twitter here because there's also more Steeler news here. I'm going to pull up. There's a couple other things going on today. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. Okay. All right. So as of now, all right. Thank you, Afton. We got quite some Steeler news today. Jared Devil, what's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, guys, as I said before you popped in, I was going to do the show Sunday, but with news starting and everything, I wanted to come on here now and start talking about stuff because my weekend's a little busy and we don't really know what Sunday's going to look like with some of this stuff. So it's kind of hot right now. Aside from the Russell Wilson news, as we all know, he's coming out here to Pittsburgh to meet with the Steelers. He's going to actually have a formal sit down. He's going to be in the building, all that kind of stuff like that. But before we get into that, we saw Patrick Peterson released today, and there are reports coming out just about 10 minutes ago that Mitchell Morse, the former Buffalo Bills longtime center, is going to be meeting with the Steelers. We know that the center spot is such a gaping hole for this roster and has been since Pouncey retired. We all know that. But with that being said, that is also other big news. We know the Steelers have kind of been linked, maybe mock draft-wise, to a couple centers in this upcoming draft. We also know they need some help on the right side of their quarterback. And I always kind of looked at it as it's going to be one or the other. They're either going to tackle center in free agency and they're going to draft a tackle in the draft or vice versa. I still think regardless what happens, that's how it's going to happen. Patrick Peterson getting released, I don't really think shocks many. The guy's 34. He's coming off a pretty mediocre type season, but it seems like there was a lot more left. Or not a lot more left, just a lot more left to value in the sense of what he brought to the table. Brought a lot of leadership, brought a lot of experience. He did some good things. He seemed to be more productive when he was kind of moving around more, a little bit in the slot, a little bit at safety. He was a little more productive. But I think in terms of his leadership style, it couldn't be understated at all. I think that he did some good things for this team. He helped Joey Porter a lot. And I don't know if he's going to find another job somewhere, but Patrick Peterson, honestly, is one of my all-time favorite cornerbacks. And I've always loved him as a player, even with the Arizona Cardinals. I lived in Arizona for quite a period of time before I moved back home here to Pittsburgh. And so I was around the Cardinals a lot. They were all being that focal point out there, blah, blah, blah. I always loved Pat Pete, man. I always did. So he had a great career. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer one way or another. But the Steelers needed to save money. They don't have a lot of free agents. They need to cut guys. We know Presley Harvin, Mitch Trubisky, Okorafor were all cut the same day. They did not waste any time. Patrick Peterson being cut, another guy. Mason Cole, another guy. So Levi Wallace, I think, is next. Levi Wallace was talking about today, and I forget what show it was. He was talking today about something that he is probably going to be finding a new opportunity, a new team. And That is what it is. Levi Wallace was brought in, didn't really quite live up to what the Steelers were hoping to get out of him. You got to cut bait. You have to. They also cut Keanu Neal yesterday, which was much needed. He was just a waste of time, waste of roster space at the end of the day. Afton says, I wouldn't mind him back as a coach. Yeah, he definitely could be a coach somewhere if he decides to. He definitely has that type of level of IQ, that mindset, being able to work with guys and everything like that. So if he wants to be a coach in the NFL one day, heck, why not? Jeremiah, what's up, man? Good to see you, dude. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So with that being said, there's a lot of safety players on the market. As I'm sure you guys have seen, a lot of guys have been getting cut, and there's a huge list of guys, and the Steelers are definitely going to fix that position. I don't really know what you guys think of DeMonte KZ. I think that he's okay to have, just not as your starting safety. I think he's somebody that needs to be kind of your utility guy, kind of like what he was in his first year here. But there's so many guys out there. I could go through the list of guys, but there's really no excuse for the Steelers not to establish that starting safety spot this free agency. There's so many guys you can plug in next to Minkah Fitzpatrick, get Minkah Fitzpatrick back his normal spot, because we've seen at least 2 years since Minkah Fitzpatrick has been here, he's had to play out of position, and it didn't really go well. Not on him, but just on their lack of help in that front seven, their lack of help at linebacker, not really much of a choice. We all know Minkah is such a much more dominant, effective player when he's patrolling his safety spot. But there's so many guys. Justin Simmons was released yesterday. Kyle Duggar of the Patriots. Kevin Byard's out there. I know some of these guys are the same position as him. Yeah, KZ's a good third backup free safety. Absolutely. Absolutely. He was a lot more effective in his first year here when he was that utility type role guy rather than being that starter he was last year. I'm actually going to pull up the list real quick, guys, of safeties. Who interests you? Let me know who interests you out of this list that you think would make sense realistically. I want you guys to be realistic. I want you guys to be realistic here on, out of all these safeties I'm going to name, who you would like to see from a realistic standpoint that would actually make sense with Minkah Fitzpatrick. So give me 1 second. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. Here's the list, guys. Here's the list. Jamal Adams, Justin Simmons, Budda Baker, Eddie Jackson, Quandre Diggs. Both of those guys were released. Diggs and Adams were released by Seattle the other day. Kevin Byard, Micah Hyde, Rayshawn Jenkins, Tracy Walker, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson of the Lions, Jordan Poyer, Jordan Whitehead. Who else we got here? Sometimes this is in order. Terrell Edmonds. He's a free agent again. Let's see. Jeremy Chin of the Carolina Panthers. Adrian Amos, Houston Texans. Kyle Duggar. Like I said, there's a lot of names out there. Like, this is a very heavy loaded safety free agency. Ton of good safeties and corner. Absolutely. We can go over the cornerback spot. I don't know enough about what they're worth. Let's hope Steelers can get through 2024 injury-free as possible. I hope so. That's all we can do. Well, yeah, it really, Afton, it's hard to predict what guys you're going to get. But in terms of those names, from a realistic standpoint at safety spot, I like Kyle Duggar a lot of the Patriots. I like Jordan Poyer. I know he's a veteran guy at 32, but he still balls. CJ Gardner-Johnson was somebody I wanted them to get last year. I think that he can bring something good to the table for this roster. I know Budda Baker was somebody too that teams were, or that fans were clamoring for when there were rumors about him getting traded. Kevin Byard, he's only 30. He still can give you some time. I think those are a few good guys there that would be an immense upgrade. Stephen Carpenter, what's up, man? Thanks for coming into the chat, brother. To be honest, Edmonds' cheap option to get Minkah back to doing what he does best and he stays healthy. Yeah, Terrell Edmonds, I think a lot of people would be okay as well to bring back. I think the one thing, Steven, is just that there's so many safeties on this market. I think a lot of fans would like to see them make a play. But I would be completely okay if you want to bring back a guy in Terrell Edmonds and go spend your money elsewhere. I'm okay with that too. It's just a loaded safety market. Yeah, every team goes through injuries. We saw that last year. It was injury city for everybody. Let's look at the corners, though. Jalen Johnson of the Bears was somebody the Steelers were very interested in trading for last year. He got franchise tagged yesterday and signed a big 4-year contract with the Chicago Bears. L'Jarius Sneed is another guy. The Kansas City Chiefs tagged him, but they are allowing him to seek a trade. It probably will cost a second-round pick. L'Jarius Sneed's a beast. I don't see why the Steelers would not be interested in that or make a phone call. L'Jarius Sneed's a beast, but he needs a new contract. But let's look at the free agent corners real quick, guys, because the Steelers only have Joey Porter right now, folks, pretty much. So they're going to need to make a move. They're probably going to draft a guy. I know Corey Trice is still there, but in terms of guys that have been around this league that have played, Joey Porter's pretty much the only guy they got right now. So let's look at corners. Let's look at cornerback. All right, let's see what we got here. So I'm going to throw L'Jarius Sneed in there because he's probably going to get traded. Marshawn Lattimore is probably going to get traded, so we're going to throw them in the bin. Let's see. We got Darius Williams of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's 30, but he still can give you a couple years. You got, let's see, Kenny Moore of the Indianapolis Colts. He's been a very effective slot corner throughout his career for the most part. That would be kind of an interesting move. Avonte Maddox of the Philadelphia Eagles. The only thing with him, he gets hurt. Chidobe Awuzie from the Cincinnati Bengals. He's a guy. You got Jordan Lewis of the Dallas Cowboys. Steven Nelson at 31, though. Let's see here. Sean Michael Bunting of the Tennessee Titans had a pretty good year for them last year. Sean Murphy Bunting, I'm sorry. Let's see. I don't think this list is fully updated yet with guys. Christian Fulton of the Tennessee Titans is a free agent as well. I don't think this list is fully updated yet, guys. There's going to be more cuts. But anyway, yeah, cornerback market, there's some guys there. The only thing is that there's some guys there. They just don't have that name recognition like some of these safeties do. But there's some, Stephon Gilmore too. Save that money for O-line and corner. Yeah, they definitely could do that. They're bringing in Mitchell Morse. We saw that about 20 minutes ago. They're going to be bringing in Mitchell Morse, former Bills center who they had to cut because they're in cap purgatory. They're going to be bringing him in for a visit. I don't think anybody would be upset about that move at all. Guys, free agency is Wednesday. It's very exciting. Buffalo released Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White is another guy that's a free agent. Like I said, that cornerback list I went over wasn't fully updated. There's some interesting names on there. They just don't have all that name recognition like other guys do, but Tre'Davious White's going to be a free agent. He's coming off an Achilles injury. Kenny Moore. Yeah, Kenny Moore would be very interesting. Kenny Moore has been a very productive player for the Colts. So he would be great there in that middle part of their secondary for sure. Free agency is going to be very interesting. And the fact that Omar Khan has not waited, he has not wasted time. He has already cut guys. He's already moved on. He's already hosting interviews. He's not wasting any time. I feel like if it was Kevin Colbert, we probably still would have Patrick Peterson. I really do. And last year, what we saw with Omar Khan, he was pretty aggressive. You know, the Steelers didn't go balls to the wall necessarily, but he was definitely more aggressive than what Kevin Colbert was. They spent some more money than what they usually did. They had a great draft. I thought it was a pretty good first year for Omar Khan. I think Omar Khan brings a little bit more aggression. I think he has a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder. But this is his second year as GM. He's got a lot to prove. And I'm excited to see that. The Steelers are probably going to be looking at wide receiver as well. That they need a third guy. Allen Robinson's probably going to get cut at some point. They have interest in Tyler Boyd reportedly. I think a lot of people would be okay with that, him coming in as our number 3 guy. But guys, let's get into talk on the main subject here. Let's talk about Russell Wilson meeting with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We saw yesterday that the Steelers were going to have interest. Do you think we bring back Eric Rowe? I think they'd be interested. I think they should. You can never have enough depth. The Steelers yesterday, there was a report that they were interested in going to meet with Russell Wilson. Today, he is flying out here to Pittsburgh to meet with them. He's actually going to have a formal meeting in office, talk with everybody, everything like that. If you guys have watched my videos, you know where I have stood on our quarterback position. And I think a lot of people agree with me on that and share that same opinion. I know there's some people out there that don't necessarily share that, and it's okay. But I'm going to say this, Russell Wilson coming here to visit excites me a lot. And the reason why it excites me is not because we're getting prime Russell Wilson. If that would be the case, we're not going to be getting prime Seattle Seahawks Russell Wilson. We all know this. But when we look at the Steelers roster, guys, they have a good roster, and they're going to be adding to that roster. And the Steelers want to win and get back to being a contender as soon as they possibly can. The big thing that they were missing is he's not done yet, Jeremiah. He's not done. I'm glad you acknowledge that. The con artist, baby. We all know the big thing that was missing was competent quarterback play, even average quarterback play. If the Steelers got average quarterback play last year, they would have won more than 10 games. They possibly could have won their division. So if we're going to look at the bigger picture here, okay, the last 2 years, the Steelers quarterbacks combined for 24 passing touchdowns in 2 years. That's awful. That's absolutely awful. I think most people, we all knew Mitch Trubisky was a failure of a signing. I personally didn't like it when it happened. There were people that were back and forth on them drafting Kenny. Kenny has not worked out at all. I don't understand the people out there that are so adamant on Kenny being the guy. What has he shown you to be the guy? He hasn't shown you anything. If anything, he's been one of the worst quarterbacks in the history of the league. And that's not me hating. That's reality. With that being said, the Steelers have to recognize and be honest with themselves. We might have missed on Kenny. We might have missed. If I would ask somebody, what are the things that Kenny Pickett does that are great? What are the things that he does that are very well? Nobody can give me an answer because he doesn't do anything that's great. He doesn't do anything that's very well. Are there some things that he does that are maybe in that middle ground of some other guys? Maybe, but for the most part, he's down here. He's down here, and it's not good. With that being said, guys, there's no possible way the Steelers can just throw Kenny back out there, given his production, given his injury history, and just call it a day. I knew going this offseason we were going to hear every rumor in the book, and we have. And we have. The thing with Russell Wilson coming in, he's definitely an upgrade over what you got. There's no question about that. Russell Wilson's a Super Bowl champion. Russell Wilson had a really rough first year with the Broncos. Last year, he had a much better season. And I think a lot of people like to diminish his season last year kind of because of his character sometimes, or some of the drama going on, or Denver benching him, Denver eating an $85 million cap hit to move on. You look at the numbers, they're pretty good. And I think if those are the numbers Kenny Pickett put up, we would not be having a quarterback conversation. Russell Wilson does not turn the ball over. Russell Wilson still has arm strength. He still has a rocket down the field. He's great off of play action. And those are things exactly Arthur Smith loves to do. I think Russell Wilson's a good fit in this offense. I don't think he's somebody that needs to come in and be a savior like he had to for Denver. The Steelers have a good enough roster to be able to win games. He can come in. He can be himself. He's not going to have the pressure he had on Denver. And he's going to have a shot to really rejuvenate himself. And I think most fans would be okay with it. I think most fans would be happy with it. Lawrence Thompson, let's ride, baby. Let's ride. I think most fans would be okay with it. Reginald, what's up, man? What's up from Tennessee, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you. Hope you I can't even talk. Hope you guys are all doing well on this Friday. But Russell Wilson brings something to the table the Steelers have not had the last 2 years. And I think that's something that matters a lot. I think his play style is stuff Arthur Smith likes to do. And I think anybody in a heartbeat would take somebody who's thrown over 40 touchdowns the last 2 years over 24. Russell Wilson does not get hurt. I know that there's been, like I said, some stories, some character things that have come out, but I overall think he's a good guy. I've always liked Russell Wilson. Are the Steelers getting prime Russell Wilson? No, but he's not a shell of himself. He still has stuff left in the tank. He's 35, 36, however old he's going to be this year. He still has gas left in the tank. We saw that last year with Denver. Denver didn't have a very good team. Denver was unloading. Sean Payton wanted things to go his way. Him and Wilson did not have a good relationship. I think with Russell Wilson coming here, you get stability. You get a good offense. You get stability. You get a good offense. You know the coach you're playing for. You have a defense that's ready to win. I think it's a great situation for him. I think it's a great situation for the Steelers. And I think if you get him for a year or two, that's going to give the Steelers time to find their next move, to find their next guy. Jared Devil says, didn't Russ play really well toward the end of the year? From what I looked at, he was better more in the beginning, especially that middle part of the season. But it was more so Denver was just really unloading guys. Denver recognized they're not ready to win. They need to unload. They need to cut guys, and they benched Wilson for that fact. It just it wasn't working out. So, I think that's really the reason why for his benching, because they just knew they were going to go in a different direction. They're not going to risk Russell Wilson getting hurt or anything. Give him a new opportunity. Kind of show their hand, like, yeah, we're kind of chalking the season. Are you okay with Russell Wilson being the Steelers quarterback? Absolutely, I am. Absolutely, I am. I think, as I was saying, Reginald, I think Russell Wilson is an immediate upgrade. I'm not saying it's an immediate upgrade where you're getting Russell Wilson of Seattle, but it's an immediate upgrade. Just because that's how bad the Steelers quarterbacks have been. Now, that's not a knock on Russell Wilson. Even if the Steelers had decent quarterback play, I still think he would be an upgrade. Russell Wilson overall had a pretty good year last year. When you look at some of the film, sure, he has some crap on film. But when you look at the rest of the film, when you look at the numbers, everything like that, you plug Russell Wilson, what he did last year, into this offense, this team's winning a playoff game. This team would not have faced the Buffalo Bills in the first round. This team would have won 12 games, possibly a division. That's exactly what would have happened. So Russell Wilson's an immediate upgrade at this quarterback spot. Like I said, Super Bowl champion. He's not going to have to come in and have all this weight on his shoulders because Denver, when he came to Denver was in a bad spot, guys. They could not get anything figured out. They did not have talent. They lacked talent. They could not get anything figured out after Peyton Manning. They went through multiple head coaches. They could not get it figured out. Russell Wilson comes in. You already have a set roster. You already have a set coaching staff. You're playing for a winning organization. If Russell Wilson, as he said, he still has that fire, he wants to win, it's a great opportunity. Because really, when you look at the Steelers team, I don't want to say they're a quarterback away necessarily, but it would fix a lot of their problems. And if you're Russell Wilson, you come in, you're like, all this stuff is set right here for me. I need to come in. I need to be my best. If I can do what I did last year, this team's going to compete. This team's going to be a playoff team, 100%. I think most people should be excited about it. No matter how you feel about Russell Wilson and his character and some of the stuff that comes with him, it's an immediate upgrade. Even if the Steelers got decent quarterback play last year, it's still an immediate upgrade. There's no question about it. There's no doubt about that. So we'll see. We'll see. Sean, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. For the price. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Sean, you make a good point, man. Russell Wilson's getting paid $85 million in 2 years with the Broncos. There is a very high possibility you can get Russell Wilson on a fantastic contract And you can also utilize your money in the other areas of your roster that you really need to heavily invest in. Absolutely, it is. The Giants are a mess. The Giants they're in a mess. They've been in a mess since 2016. I don't know why he'd want to go there. But yeah, Sean, you make a good point too. Another thing I forgot to add on to. Russell Wilson's not going to be taking a big contract. He's already getting that from Denver. He can take a cheap deal, a good 1 to 2 year deal, and the Steelers can utilize their money in other areas. And that's a win-win, because now you're getting an upgraded quarterback. You're getting a guy that still has juice left in the tank. You're not paying guys really on offense too much. You can add to your defense. I mean, really, you're in a great spot. You're in a great spot if that happens. So that's how I view it, guys. That's through my eyes, but I'd be very excited if Wilson comes here. I really would. And especially too, I view it, guys, where if he's here for 1 to 2 years, that gives them time. That gives them time to find their next guy, to make their next move. They don't just have to try to build this roster and trout out a quarterback that you really have all these questions about and are possibly going to relive what you relived last year. You know what I'm saying? Give me 1 second. That's how I view it. I got to charge my computer. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Like, do you guys, like, after what I was saying and everything, like, do you guys in the comments, like, does Russell Wilson coming here excite you? Do you think Russell Wilson coming here gives them, I don't want to say it takes them over the hump necessarily, but do you guys think that it gives them more of an opportunity to actually finally maybe make somewhat of a push to maybe actually finally win a playoff game? Yeah, and that's the thing too, Sean. If Russ comes, I think Mason's gone. If Wilson does sign with the Steelers, looking forward to seeing what. And that's the thing too, Jeremiah. He with what Arthur Smith likes to do, what Wilson fits in really well with that. Joe Biden will be elected in October. Yeah, I'm sure Z. Here he is, guys. I actually tried to get Z on the show today, but he doesn't like you guys in the chat, so he did not come on. No, I'm just kidding. You guys all know Z's a Ravens fan and everything like that. I tried to get him on today to come on with me and talk about this stuff as a Ravens fan, as from a non-bias standpoint. But we'll get him on as free agency goes on. Afton asks, or his performance definitely better than any of our quarterbacks. What he's real like his teammate. Well, Afton, really this year there were a lot of stuff going on with Denver. Sean Payton and other guys coming out in frustration, and we know Russell Wilson doing some weird stuff on an airplane on the field. We know that. But from what I've read back in Seattle and everything like that, great in the locker room. A lot of guys have respect for him. Are you going to mesh with every teammate? No. Are you going to see eye to eye with every single player in your locker room? No, you're not. Coaches don't see eye to eye with every player. Players don't see eye to eye with every coach. That's just the way it is. You know, the different guys might have different opinions, but from what I've seen, what I've read, a lot of people over the years have come out and have spoke highly about Russell Wilson. And I think he's a good guy in general. I really do. I really do. He doesn't have baggage, right? He's not going to cause off the field issues or anything like that. So that does not bother me whatsoever. I'm just thinking of the huge gap in offense performance. Yeah. And there really is, there's no question about it. Like really, there's really not, honestly. There's really not. So, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know when his interview's taking place with the Steelers or him meeting. I don't know what time that is, but I just know he was flying out here today, which is exciting. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if there's any other news coming out because we talked about Patrick Peterson. We talked about Mitch Morse. We're talking about Russell Wilson now. Yeah, there you go. Mike Evans resigns with the Buccaneers on a 2-year deal. Yeah, so as of right now, there's really not much. Yeah, Z, I saw that. I think a lot of people would love that move. Mitchell Morse. Mitchell Morse has been a pretty strong staple of that Bills offensive line. So how the Steelers know what Wilson brings unless we give him a chance. Exactly. And with what we saw last year, Wilson looked rejuvenated, but it was a crap situation in Denver too, guys. It really was. And that's another thing that I want people, and I hope that people out there can kind of understand. Wilson doesn't need to come in here and quote unquote be the guy. He doesn't need to be that. He can come in here and he's got a lot of things set out for him. He's got an offense that balls. He's getting an offensive line that's going to continually be added on to. He's going to work with an offensive play caller that they like to do similar things. And you have Mike Tomlin, and you have a defense that has studs on it and is going to get added to it. So I think if you're Russell Wilson, there's a ton to like. Players, well, yeah, there's been a couple guys that have come out, but there's also been players in Denver that said that's completely overblown. So, and that's what I was saying earlier, like moments ago, Reginald, is that you're going to have guys that don't like you as a player or don't like you as a teammate. You're not going to see eye to eye. There's players that play for coaches they don't really care for, and there's players that play for that same coach they love. Like that's just how it is with your coworkers, man. Mitt Romney or Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Z, what's funny is that everything that happens in this country you say doesn't affect you, but it does affect you. So sorry that you're so dull, freaking duller than a pencil to understand that. But yeah, I think that if Wilson comes here, I think fans should be excited. And the fans that are against it will eventually talk themselves into it because they're Steeler fans. But the fans that are concerned about it or against it or anything, look at what you've had at quarterback the last 2 flipping years. Especially if you're getting Russ on a good contract, look at what you've had the last 2 years. You should be glad that you're getting an upgrade. Is Wilson a top 10 quarterback nowadays? No, but he's still got stuff left in the tank. With how this team's built, he can definitely flourish. He can definitely prosper in this offense. He still has gas left in the tank. He still can play at a good level. I don't know what you want. Where are we at right now? 32? We'll go a little bit longer, guys. We'll go a little bit longer. Maybe top 20. Yeah. If I had to put Wilson amongst the quarterbacks, let's see. Let's kind of go through the quarterback list here, who I would put over him. Let's have some fun. Who would I put over Russell Wilson? Obviously, let's go through each division. Niners, Brock Purdy, probably not yet. Geno, no. Stafford, yeah, I think so. Who we got? Kyler Murray, no. Dak, yeah. Hurts, probably, yeah. Daniel Jones, no. Who else is there? Why am I blanking out? Washington, they don't really have a quarterback. So no. Baker, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I think Baker proved that last year that he's a quality quarterback. Who else we got? Falcons, they don't really have their guy yet. So that's a pass. Derek Carr, no. Steel 74, what's up, man? Derek Carr, no. Bryce Young only played 1 year, so no. Goff, yeah. Kirk, yeah. Justin Fields, I'm going to say no right now, but I like his upside. I think that there is upside for Justin Fields. Jordan Love, yeah, Jordan Love's going to be special. Let's look at the AFC. Deshaun Watson, no. Burrow, Lamar, obviously. Mahomes, obviously. Herbert, obviously. Denver don't have a guy, so that's a no. Raiders, no, they don't have a guy. Lawrence, I'm going to say no. Trevor Lawrence, honestly, to me, has not impressed me at all. I think that there's still, I still think he can become a pretty good quarterback, but not right now. He hasn't impressed me yet. Anthony Richardson, he's barely played. I like him a lot. So, but we can't count him. Yeah, Patriots, no, they ain't got anybody. Tua, yeah, I'd say Tua. Tua is better. Let's look at the AFC. Let's see. I think that's everybody. Oh, Titans, Will Levis, no, just only play 1 year. Forgot about them. CJ Stroud, yeah. Okay. So like really it kind of leaves him in that like 15, 14 category. That's fine. Steelers have gotten 32. Last 2 years, Steelers have been at 32. So yeah, yeah, let's see. Wilson, my top 15. Yeah, I think it's fair to say he's top 15. Yeah, I think that's fair. Wilson's yeah, yeah, he's a part of Acrisure. Yeah, he's a member of one of their departments. I forget the name of it. So that's another thing too. Yes, bring Steel 74 says bring in Wilson so KP8 can mentor under him. Just my opinion. Well, Kenny definitely could. Kenny could learn a lot for sure. The one thing Steel about it that might concern you or anybody else is that Kenny's gonna be 26 next year. That's probably the one thing. Let's say Kenny was like 23, then I think that's an ideal scenario. I think that's the one thing. But yes, I agree. But yeah, like that. That's what I'd do it. Why not? High risk, very low reward. Denver's paying for it after all. Yeah, and that's something that people got to understand is that you're not going to be paying this guy that money. He's going to be getting he would be getting a great contract in terms of cheap, and that's going to give the Steelers an opportunity to get elsewhere. And you're getting a guy that's an upgrade over what you got. You're getting a guy that's coming off 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, a 98.6 rating. You're coming off a guy that still has gas left in the tank that was in a crap situation in Denver. And now you're getting a guy that's coming in. He doesn't need to be, quote unquote, the guy. It's going to buy you time to find your next guy. And he's coming in with a roster that's ready to win. And a Hall of Fame head coach. I don't see anything negative about it. I really don't. Yeah. So I think, yeah, I don't, in my opinion, there's nothing to dislike about Russell Wilson coming in. There's nothing to dislike about it. So that's just my opinion. We'll go a few more minutes, guys. Anything else you want to talk about? Like I said, I tried to get Z on. But he wasn't able to do it today. So we'll get him on my channel talking about some stuff as free agency gets going, especially from a non-biased standpoint since he's a Ravens fan. So I think it'd be good to have him on. Steel 74, yeah, do it. Steelers would be very foolish to let this slip past him. Why trade more picks for Fields when you can get Wilson for cheap? Get your offensive line to be better and secondary better and in the draft. Yeah, for sure. I think people look at it that way. I think people need to kind of have that perspective and understand that. Because the thing, too, is that where the Steelers are at, we all know this is how it goes after your guy retires, right? The Steelers right now, future, long-term, don't have their guy, and they're not going to find that guy this year. But with how you are set up, you have a roster that is dying to win a damn playoff game. You have a roster on your defensive side and your offensive side of the ball that is pretty darn good, in my opinion, and is going to be added to throughout this offseason. Why do you want to trot out a very questionable situation again at quarterback and relive what you relived 2 years ago? When you can get somebody now that's an immediate upgrade and will buy you time to find your next guy. That's how I view it. That's how I view it. And let's say Steel, let's play the other side. Let's say they get Justin Fields instead. Okay. So they would have to give up some draft capital. I don't think it would be a lot. The reason why the Falcons are going in a different direction, it looks like Steelers might be looking different direction, is because Ryan Pohl's asking price. I don't think Justin Fields is even going to go for a second-round pick. If you're let's say it happens, hypothetically, you give up a third or fourth-round pick for the guy, you're going to have his fifth-year option you're going to have to pick up. But to me, you would be making an investment that you're hoping that he's going to be your guy going forward. He could. I think that there's things to like about Justin Fields. There's concern. But at least that's how I would view the Steelers' mindset if they would go in that direction. If they would trade for Justin Fields, they got to have it in their minds that they're hoping he's their long-term commitment. So if you sign Wilson, are you done with free agency for a bit? No, absolutely not, Sean. Absolutely not. The Steelers have released Pat Pete today. They've been cutting guys. They're making cap space. Russell Wilson's not going to sign for a big contract. He's getting all that money from Denver. He's not going to sign for a big contract. The Steelers, if they would get him, they would still have plenty of time, plenty of room to add to your roster. 100%. They're meeting with Mitchell Morse today. They would still be aggressive. They're still going to look at safeties. They're still going to look at corner. They're still going to look at linebacker. Jerome Baker's another name that got cut from the Dolphins that has kind of been thrown out there. The Steelers could be interested in. The Steelers are definitely going to have room to work, Sean, 100%. Yeah, he beat the Browns. It would be nice to see Russ with the Steelers beat Cleveland for sure two more times. Absolutely. I'd only do it for a fourth. Yeah, and Jared Devil, that might be what it is, man. That might be what it is for. Go ahead, Z. Let's see it. You're all talk, no bite. The great thing about getting Wilson is that he'll be the cheapest signing in a while. You won't even see the cap space take a big hit. No, you won't. And I think Russell Wilson understands that. He's getting a big deal from Denver. Teams aren't going to give him that contract. Like, dude, you're already getting this from Denver. You're getting $85 million over the next 2 years. Go ahead, Z. Let's see it. I don't think anyone was tighter than you after the Ravens lost in the playoffs. Go figure. Go figure. Go figure. Oh, man. Oh, man. But it's exciting, guys. It's exciting nonetheless of this news and stuff to talk about. And free agency is always fun. But I feel like last year, though, around this time last year, there was just more to talk about. Like, there was more stuff going on. It's kind of felt a little dry this year with some things. I don't know why. That's just me. It's just me, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Any other news? Let's see. Anything that's broke? How do you guys think? I want to ask you guys a question in the chat. If Russell Wilson signs here, how do you guys think Kenny Pickett will feel? Honest question. I want to get your guys' opinion. How do you think Kenny Pickett will feel if they sign Russell Wilson? I would imagine you think they'll yeah, he's definitely going to get released, Steele. He actually was on a show earlier today. See, they've had Big Ben. They've had Big Ben for 18 years. So we're actually more than fortunate to actually have had that for 18 years. Yeah, Levi Wallace actually said he's going to be having new opportunities today. So he knows he's done soon. But I think that if Wilson comes here, I think Kenny's probably going to feel in a way maybe they're giving up, feel in a way of that it's really not going to be he's not really not going to be able to compete for that job because he's not going to be able to compete for the job. He ain't beating Russell Wilson out, not even close. But what's he expect, dude? When you're getting hurt and when you're throwing 13 touchdowns in 2 years, what do you expect? That's the way it is. That's the way it is. You keep working. Yeah, it does, Sean. Yeah, it does. Guy was celebrating. But before the playoffs started, this guy was celebrating Super Bowl already, and they won one playoff game. Congratulations. Zacking. Oh, my goodness. Spew the hate at him, folks. Spew the hate. The guy's a joke. But seriously, how do you guys think that this will impact Kenny Pickett? I want to know. Give me your opinion. Yeah, zacking. Oh man. Actually, too, I want to see. Let me see if I can pull something up real quick, guys. I want to kind of tell you guys about something, but I want to make sure that it's good to go. want to make sure it's good to go. Give me 1 second. A lot of freaking news already coming out. One second, guys. There it is. There it is. All right. All right. Okay, so I want to tell you guys here. I actually got, let's see. Wild Herbways, what's up? Who you talking about, man? Who you talking about? I want to tell you guys, I actually took a writing job for this website, Gridiron Heroics. They're not huge, but it's more so for me as a kind of a footstone for me to kind of get my kind of, I don't really know what to say it. Not my writing career, but something in terms of staying in a sports-like atmosphere, being able to write for a sports website and stuff like that, kind of getting myself going even more in that type of direction. And I want to share my first article with you guys here in the chat. It actually has been, I'm not really sure why the picture is a cutoff or why it's cut off, but I'm actually going to share it with you guys. Hopefully it works in the stream. Try to copy that link if you guys can. But yeah, my first article was actually writing about Russell Wilson coming here. But I'll be writing about a bunch of stuff, not just Steel related. But if you guys are interested, if you want to keep up, that's great. I'm excited about it. I kind of just view it more as an opportunity to kind of another type of step in the direction I want to go. So I think it's a good thing, but we'll see. Zach, how does an MVP lose to a rookie in the regular season and win MVP? It's either going to light a fire or he'll want to trade. But that's the thing is, like, I don't know. To me, like, if you're Kenny and you'd request a trade, like, who do you think you are, right? Like, who do you think you are? Like, you're not this guy that's kind of started to show himself and then is getting screwed over or something like that. Like, you're somebody who's been awful. I don't understand who you think you are. Oh, man. Oh, man. We're still going, guys. We're still going. We'll go a few more minutes, guys. I'm kind of letting you guys talk it out in the chat a little bit. But yeah, we talked about Pat Pete getting cut, Mitchell Morse coming in for a visit. Obviously, the main topic, Russell Wilson coming in, giving my thoughts on that, hearing some of your guys' thoughts on that. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope the Steelers don't sign Stephon Gilmore. The same guy who said he couldn't learn from the side. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know who you think you are. Like, to me, we all know that situation was very suspect at the end of the year with Kenny possibly refusing to be a backup. So, like, let's say that he would ask for a trade. It's like, who do you think you are, dude? Nobody wants you. Nobody's going to want you. Seriously. Like, if anything, dude, you haven't proved anything. Come in, put your head down, work, and you're going to get another opportunity at some point. Look at Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph came in 2018, put his head down and worked. He had a really rough 2019 where Ben was out for the year, put his head down and worked the next 3 years, was possibly looking into real estate, comes in, goes 3-0 the rest of the way, gives them a spark they haven't had all year, plays in a playoff game, and now could possibly get a contract somewhere. Charmin's wipes. Oh, man. Thanks, Sean. Yeah, I appreciate it. If you guys are interested in just kind of reading what I wrote, it's my first one, so I'm kind of excited to kind of get it going. So, but yeah, I think we're going to get ready to wrap it up, guys. We're almost hitting 1 o'clock here. I think we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. But I appreciate each and every one of you in the chat who have put their thoughts out there, commented, who have supported the channel. It's always good to see you guys. Yeah, I appreciate it, Wild Herb. Thank you for reading it and supporting it. I appreciate it, man. Let's get some W's in the chat, folks, before we head out. But yeah, thank you guys for your support, your comments. Hit the thumbs up if you guys have not subscribed to keep up with things on this channel. It helps me grow, helps me reach more people like all of you guys and everything else. So it's always good to see you guys here in the chat. I think on Tuesday night, we're actually going to be on Mark Davison's channel, Steeler Nation Australia. Daniel, Jay, myself, and Mark, we're going to have a roundtable talk about what's going on. If you guys are interested in that, head over there to Mark's channel at Steeler Nation Australia on Tuesday night. Daniel and I will probably be back sometime next week to do another episode of the Unofficial Steelers podcast. But yeah, I wanted to come on here, talk about what's going on since it's kind of hot. We don't know what's going to go on the next day or two. So thank you all so much for always being here. It's always good to see you guys in the chat. Always good to see you guys support, and all those who come in that are new. Always good to see you guys, and hopefully you guys become regulars in the chat as well. So other than that, guys, we'll see what happens the rest of the day today, this weekend, next week. We'll see. Daredevil, appreciate you, brother. Each and every one of you, you know who you are. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next Tuesday.